Hi, this is JP Collins.
And this is Julie.
And this is the Book of Hours podcast. This is the live stream edition on Saturday, April 1st. And now that it's April, it is Earthquake Prevention Month.
Right.
Here in San Francisco.
San Francisco recognizes the April 18th, 1906 earthquake that took place and devastated the city. It completely demolished the city. So I can't remember when they decided to put Earthquake Prevention Month into effect.
It was pretty recently.
Yeah, I would say it was in at least the last few years.
Yeah.
Well, at least as long as we've known each other, which is 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
So, because remember when we talked a little bit about Earthquake Prevention Month before we started our podcast.
Right. Yeah, and we wanted to make sure
the importance of it.
Yeah, and so we knew that when April came around, we wanted to do a piece on earthquake prevention, and so we wanted to talk to you about a few things that you can do to help prevent earthquakes from happening. Okay, because they're very devastating, and not all states have to deal with them, but pretty recently in the last few years, Virginia.
I know.
actually had an earthquake.
And Oklahoma has been having earthquakes?
Oklahoma has been having earthquakes too.
And I mean, come on, these are states that
normally
don't even have tectonic plates.
Right.
So,
I mean, so here in San Francisco, we're on the edge of two tectonic plates. So we have fault lines everywhere. The San Andreas Fault is nearby, and we're on the Pacific tectonic plate and the continental shelf.
Right.
So when these two things, when they come together, one may go underneath the other, or they rub together, whatever it might be. So here's some things. Here's some tips that we'd like to provide to help prevent those tectonic plates from moving and creating the earthquakes that we have. So in San Francisco now, there's been a lot of building going on, and like big,
more
tall
earthquakes.
Right. Well,
we've been having some little tremors here and there.
And so there's a moratorium on new building in San Francisco. So those tall skyscrapers, they're going to continue building them until they're finished. Right. Exactly.
After that, no more.
There is a grandfather clause for anything that got permitted. The permits went through before the moratorium took place. So we will be seeing some building going on for the next couple of years, but after that, nothing.
So one of the things too that we actually enjoy during the month of April is, because we're cyclists, is there's less cars on the road. So they want people to drive less. They want lightweight cars. If you have to drive, they want it to be those little smart cars.
Yeah.
Or smaller.
And the reason
cars.
for that is they cause less vibrations.
Right.
It's not as hard on the ground, on the earth, so it doesn't make as much shaking sound.
Right.
Certainly a bicycle.
And absolutely no trucks.
No trucks.
No trucks
None
at all.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't know what they're going to do about deliveries, but
Yeah,
now,
the month of April is always really challenging in San Francisco because of this.
Yeah.
And there have been quite a few people that have, gone on notice saying that we really need to do away with Earthquake Prevention Month. But honestly, it's really important that we follow some of these really simple guidelines.
Well, and
it takes very little out of your
There's earthquake deniers now.
Right? I mean,
I know. It's just like, first there were, climate change deniers, now there's earthquake deniers, and they don't think that we should have Earthquake Prevention Month.
Right. I think that's terrible.
Well, then there's another faction that wants to move Earthquake Prevention Month.
Of course. They want to take Earthquake Prevention Month out of April and actually put it into October
because of the 1989 earthquake.
Right.
Which didn't kill as many people as the 1906 earthquake.
Right.
But,
so, we are the pro-April Earthquake Prevention Month supporters, and, the ones that want to start Earthquake Prevention Month in October are accusing us of being, they're saying racist things like we're nativists because we only feel that the 06 earthquake was the better earthquake versus the 89 earthquake. Yeah. And look,
they argue that they have earthquake weather more often.
Right, that's
and
true.
So they have that. Okay, they do have that, but we do have the 06 earthquake on our side.
Well, and the thing about it is look, I spend, at least for a couple of hours during the month of October, I have a moment of silence for all those buildings that came down. I mean, all those billion-dollar developments that came down, and the fact that these developers, they didn't retrofit their building when they should have, and now they had to go back and retrofit them. And I understand that that's a pain in the ass to have to retrofit your building to make it earthquake safe. I get that, so I have a moment of silence for all the buildings that came down and all the cars
in 1989. For 89,
and the glass, the glass that was shattered in the buildings.
Yeah,
I understand that replacing glass in a building is definitely a challenge for a multi-billion-dollar company.
Well, and then that freeway that collapsed. It's a drag that they had to take down the Embarcadero Freeway because the property values went up so high, so much after they did that.
After that, the property values just skyrocketed because people had a view and they didn't have a highway running through their backyard.
I know. Well, whatever. But
but we
are
loyal to April because of the 1906 earthquake, where actual lives were lost. People who were settling in San Francisco were trying to build lives for themselves, and they had families that they were, I forgot to. Oh well, that's okay.
That's okay. Well,
there's a couple more things that we wanted.
There's a few other tips that we wanted.
A few other tips that we want that you can help prevent earthquakes.
So we said drive less. Okay, so don't drive trucks. All right, and what they're trying to do is they're trying to make our buses, the new buses that they're buying, they're trying to make them lighter, so that they don't make as many vibrations when they go through. Now, this you can't control the number of people on the bus necessarily, only until it's filled up. So by making the buses lighter and maybe giving them fatter tires so that they're cushioned more, that helps. When you jump up and down, like when you exercise and stuff, try to do it on grass and soft areas, and don't jump up and down on pavement or sidewalks because it causes more vibrations. It's harder on the ground, and it can cause these. It all adds up.
Right.
It all adds up to like the vibration. It all adds up to like a bigger
does. It's a collective
thing.
effort.
It is.
It really is.
And it turns into an earthquake once it gets too much vibration.
It's too much vibration. Yeah. Too many people
try
jumping up and down.
So if you're jumping up and down,
just do it on the grass.
Yeah. Or those new padded surf, like the playgrounds that are like
they have the thick pads.
Yeah.
Those are really cool.
Those are cool.
But I got to tell you, our neighbors absolutely love the month of April during Earthquake Prevention Month because everybody has to walk on slippers.
Oh right,
soft
because
shoes,
we're in the middle of a three-story building.
We're in the middle of the building,
and we have the most to lose. Well, the people below us, I suppose, have the most to lose if there's an earthquake.
Right,
they
have 2 floors above.
Right,
exactly. We only have one floor.
Yeah,
but
everybody wears slippers.
Everybody loves Earthquake Prevention Month when you live in a multi-unit building like a big apartment building. It's really helpful.
The other thing. Oh, and so what were some of the other things like jumping up and down? Riding a bike. Let's see, cars. Jackhammers. They don't use jackhammers during the month of April now in the city. Oh, and so what we're trying to do is, it's a citywide effort, but it's really going to take the entire West Coast to have an effect. So we want to make sure that we publicize this so that it gets out to the other cities on the West Coast.
Exactly. It's really important because I have my brother and sister-in-law and their 4 kids will be moving to California in a couple of months. And it's really important that people who are moving to California from other states understand that San Francisco has Earthquake Prevention Month during the month of April, but for instance, they'll be moving to Monterey. And so Monterey has not yet come on board with earthquake prevention.
No, and neither has any other city in the state of California. Los Angeles is talking about it.
Los Angeles is talking about it because of its magnitude.
Yeah,
and San Jose is another large city, a large community. So they are also, I think it's been presented in legislation. But San Francisco tends to be we start the
trends, especially the
trends. We're the trendsetters.
Especially the trends that really have an effect over your life in a negative way. So, like, you know, even though it's good for the environment, we banned plastic bags, okay? And we are responsible for you now paying for your bags at the grocery store.
Right.
So
You're
these
welcome.
are all, you know, these are all good things that have
Right.
taken place, but they impact your life. And so you can count on San Francisco for bringing about legislation that does those kinds of things. So you're welcome. We'd love to get Portland on board because, you know, they're equally committed to that kind of legislation. I think,
right.
you know,
the earthquake prevention.
Well,
ones?
earthquake prevention. They need
right.
they have earthquakes in Portland.
Don't they already ban bags and?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They have the same kind of attitude towards legislation,
policy.
progressive.
Don't want to say progressive now because the Democratic Party has co-opted the word progressive, and we're not Democrats.
But you know, they're going to start co-opting the earthquake rhetoric too.
I know,
right?
I know.
Okay, so this is a Democratic city, so
Gosh.
you know, whatever. But
it's
Seattle,
like we can't seem to do anything. Right?
I know.
Seattle,
Vancouver, we're inviting you to join us. San Diego, Tijuana, join us in our quest to limit the amount of vibrations that we create that then, you know, turn around and create earthquakes, because it's up to all of us, right? Because
so it's, you know, the tectonic plates are like this all the time. And also some of San Francisco is built on sand.
Right.
So you have to understand that there's really no solid foundation.
Right. It's called liquefaction. So like when an earthquake shakes, the building just kind of like goes
That's
down
why
inside.
it's really important that if you drive a lightweight car, keep your car, you know, remove all the extra things out of your car. Try to keep your car parked.
If you're walking, don't stomp around and don't slap your feet.
Don't stomp on the sidewalk.
Right.
I mean, you don't know if you're going to be on an area of San Francisco that's nothing but sand.
Right.
You don't know.
Yeah, you
so
don't know.
you have to be just exercise precaution wherever you
go.
no matter what neighborhood.
No loud music. No loud.
Don't
stop being loud and stop
remember the whole story about Caruso?
Right.
Back
in 1906.
He's an opera singer.
Right. He was the famous opera singer. He was staying in San Francisco when the earthquake took place, and some say that he was actually the cause of the earthquake because his powerful vocals were so intense.
Right.
And he was an amazing singer, and there are recordings of him, and he vowed never to come to San Francisco again.
Yeah.
Now there weren't any.
It was a catastrophe.
Yeah, and there weren't any catastrophic earthquakes until 1989. He was long gone, you know, so they couldn't blame 89 on him. But 1906 was certainly, I think that, you know, he could easily be called the reason for the 1906 earthquake.
Well, you know,
at least one of them.
He
might have just pushed it over the edge.
I think that's probably what happened. I think what happened was, you know, his singing was so powerful that it went outside the building where he was. The cable cars stopped abruptly, which caused again the shift in the tectonic plates, the soft ground that we lived on. People got very excited, so it was sort of a domino effect. I think is how it,
you know, and now they have the rubber tracks for the cable cars and the street cars, right? So that they don't, and the wheels have been converted to a softer metal.
That's true.
You know, so because back then
you used to be able to put a penny on the track and then the cable car would go over it. Well, now that it's just like rubber, it just kind of sinks in, and your penny doesn't go flat anymore.
Back then, you know, they had the cable cars. That rattling took place, and you know, so Caruso was staying at the Palace Hotel, which is across the street from Lotta's Fountain, and people gathered around Lotta's Fountain, which was the gathering place, and people put up, you know, notes and things like that, and Caruso kind of, you know, snuck away. But wasn't that song by the Smiths, "Meet Me Around the Fountain" or something like that? Wasn't it about Lotta's Fountain?
I believe so.
Yeah, I think so too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, you know, do what you can, and please get the message out there. Did you have any other tips or?
No, I really want to stress how important it is to pay attention to Earthquake Prevention Month and the tips that we've just listed out here in this podcast will be really instrumental in keeping our city safe.
So, you know, now
from more earthquakes.
San Francisco is, you know, going back to our progressiveness. I mean, we recycle about 75% of the garbage going out. We compost the rest, and there's very little trash. So, you know, compost, recycle. Don't jump up and down on concrete.
Right.
Pay for your bags. Take a bag to the grocery store.
And if you see somebody who is driving around in their big, 60-ton truck or their Hummer or their SUV, get their license plate and report them.
Report them. Shame them. Put their photos up on Nextdoor.
That's putting the whole city in danger.
Right, it is.
And if you see a bus that isn't retrofitted for earthquakes and hasn't taken the proper weight off and hasn't balanced out the weight that is supposed to be on the bus properly, you can go ahead and talk to Muni about that. Talk to the people who run the rails.
I wanted to bring in the fact that like there's Nextdoor.com, so a lot of neighborhoods have that, and we have that here in San Francisco as well. So shame those people, publicly shame those people on Nextdoor, because that's what Nextdoor.com is for.
That's what it's for. Is to shame people.
Yeah, it's a very good platform for that. Yeah, so it's the public shaming social network. Yeah, it's really good. So get the word out. We want Portland, Seattle, Vancouver in the north, and LA, San Diego, San Jose, and the other smaller towns in between to the south of us to really, San Luis Obispo, we're talking to you, okay? Yeah. And
college town, you gotta.
That's right.
We count on those.
The other thing that's weird is I've been told that and I think this is just crazy talk, but you can follow the fault lines in the East Bay by looking at the schools and hospitals. Isn't that? Wow,
that's so messed up.
That is, I think that's just conspiracy theory.
That's a conspiracy theory.
I agree, but
it's something that I think the administrators for Earthquake Prevention Month should look into that. These are the kinds of things that we need to discuss. We need to talk about. You know. And
so be gentle in April.
Right.
Okay, and be gentle. Try to be gentle the rest of the year too, because earthquakes don't just happen in April and October; they happen other times of the year as well.
We're just, Earthquake Prevention Month, like we said, the reason it's in the month of April is because the April 18th, 1906 earthquake took place. So we've decided to make April the month of earthquake.
Right. So I'd say every day is Earthquake Prevention Day.
Every day is. Yeah. That's true.
Okay. So anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you for watching this Book of Hours live stream on Facebook. You can follow us at Book of Hours. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can also support us by going to our website, book-of-hours.com, and look for the donate button at the bottom of the page. It needs to go to the top.
It should probably go to the top.
You can donate anything from $5,000 to $5,000. It'll help us keep us doing what we're doing right now.
Yes.
Have a great day. Enjoy your weekend.
Thanks for tuning in, and stay safe out there.
That's right.
Only you can prevent earthquakes.
That's right. Happy Earthquake Prevention Month.
Bye.
Bye-bye.